Good afternoon, everyone. So happy you're able to join us today for IPDAE's Webinar Wednesday. Today, we are super excited in offering this webinar to those of you who are serving in the correction facilities. Today's webinar, Gearing Up for Contextualized Instruction in Corrections, is really in preparation for the upcoming IPDAE trainings that we're going to have. And Ron's going to talk to you about those trainings and make sure that all of you are signed up for it. But we are really excited about offering this training to all of you. We worked with the DOE staff and the Florida Department of Education to really put this together. You're going to really walk away with you're going to look at technical programs that are offered at your respective institutions, and you're going to be able to really develop lessons that are going to align to those IET offerings that you have at those programs. So let's just go over a few housekeeping rules before I introduce Ron and turn it over to him. As you know, you are all, your microphones are muted. You are in listen-only mode. You can ask questions, and I hope that you do. Just put them into the Q&A option that is available on your screen. Don't use the chat, use the Q&A. We're going to be looking at it throughout the presentation. Today's presentation is being recorded like all IPDAE recordings, and it's archived, and it will be available on the IPDAE website within 48 hours. There's also a handbook that goes along with this training that's already downloaded on the IPDAE website. Today's facilitator is Ron Cruz, and he is your main facilitator for the workshops. So I'm going to turn it over to Ron, and we are going to get started. Thank you to all of you who are joining us today.
Thank you so much, June, for that warm introduction. Good afternoon, everybody that are working in the correctional facilities. I am very happy to and excited, of course, to share you a lot of what is to expect in the upcoming regional workshops for corrections. I also want to give you your pre-work per se, so you can at least prepare for what's to come. My name is Ron Cruz. I'm the coordinator of the Caribe Refugee Program here in Hillsborough County in Tampa, Florida. I am also a statewide trainer, national trainer for both Florida IPDAE and GED testing service. So, and my IPDAE email is posted on this screen. Just in case you have any lingering questions after this webinar, you can reach me through the Florida IPDAE email. As you already know, we're trying to cover the entire state of Florida and provide this workshop and really deliver this information to as many audiences as we can. Now, we are going to the following regions. We're going to Region 1. Specifically in Washington County. We're also going to Union County. We're going to Polk County, and we're also going to Region 4, Martin County. So we covered the first 4 regions of corrections institutions and jails in the state of Florida. But of course, all of the counties surrounding these 4 regions, or the counties that belong to these regions. Another thing that I'm excited to share with you is that really and truly, it doesn't really matter where we're going because all of these workshops are happening virtually, okay? In addition to that, we're also conducting a simultaneous virtual and in-person workshops in Regions 1, Washington County, specifically in Vernon, and also in Region 4, Martin County, specifically at the Indian River State College facility. So those are 2 very important information for you. So if you live close to Vernon or Indian River State College, make sure, and if you don't mind attending in person or you like the feel of an in-person training, that is available in these 2 locations. For the rest of the regions, you are going to participate with us through virtual. One one thing that I wanted to remind you is that in the virtual setting, you're really not going to feel left out. Like, well, I wish I was in person. No, you're not going to feel that way because we are going to balance the attention between people that are connected to us remotely and also connected to us in person. All of the materials are going to be given to you digitally. And the workshop is going to be completely interactive. So to maintain your engagement along the way and really ensure maximum learning in these workshops. In addition, like I said, we have those face-to-face workshops in regions 1 and 4. And we want to make sure that we selected spaces and facilities that's going to give us sufficient space where we can abide by existing CDC guidelines for social distancing, and also, of course, following masking guidelines in these areas. You will be provided printed materials if you come in person. You will also be able to receive the digital materials through your IPDAE portal after the workshop. And it's going to be, of course, if it's interactive virtually, it's going to be interactive in person. So I'm just very excited because we haven't done a simultaneous face-to-face virtual workshop in the past. So this is going to be our first jab at this, but I'm very excited to give it a try. Now, if you have not signed up, I really urge you to sign up for these regional workshops. All you have to do is go to Florida IPDAE website, www.floridaipdae.org, go into the event calendar, look, and all of our corrections workshops are happening in April. So change your calendar to the month of April and you'll be able to see all of the corrections workshops scheduled for the month of April. You can either click on more details or click on register. So if you're planning to attend in person, we urge you to register through the IPDAE portal or the event calendar. If you are planning to attend this, virtually, all the more important, you have to register for the IPDAE through the IPDAE website. The reason is that if you're only coming to us virtually or attending virtually, if you have not signed up in the IPDAE portal or the IPDAE website, you will not get the Zoom link to attend the virtual workshop. So let me repeat that. In person, register online for the specific workshop you want to attend, the particular region you want to attend to. But if you're attending virtually, please make sure you have to register on the portal. You cannot walk in or expect to get a link somewhere else if you have not pre-registered. So hopefully that's clear. If you have any questions, you've got any trouble signing up or resetting your portal or things like that, logging on to IPDAE, you can always contact IPDAE on the contact screen or the contact tab from the IPDAE website. And one of our team specialists will be very happy to assist you to get registered for this workshop. So please don't dilly-dally around. Don't wait for the last minute to register. This is a really great workshop. I'm sure you're going to feel that way after I go over some of the stuff that we're going to cover today. So regardless whether you are attending virtually or in person, you are still going to get a Zoom invitation from IPDAE. So if you are planning to attend in person and you got an email that says, okay, here's the link to join the workshop. If you're attending in person, you can disregard that Zoom link. You can go ahead and just go into the designated place that's indicated on the workshop description, and we'll be happy to receive you at that location. So you can disregard it if you're attending face-to-face. But if you are attending in virtually, you cannot delete. Please do not delete this link because this is going to be your only access to that website. Now, if you have not done so yet, Florida IPDAE has released a pre-workshop survey. We like to get the pulse of our audience. We'd like to stay in touch with what's going on in the corrections facility, and we would like to see and get a feel for the content and how to go about with delivering the content with all of you. So we emailed out a pre-workshop survey to all of you. If you have not done so, it's I'm going to exit out of my presentation. I'm going to put this into the chat so you can also have it. I'm going to put the link on the chat, and you can click on the list. On the chat, and then click on the link. That's what I meant. Click on the link, and then it will lead you straight into that survey. It's a very quick survey. You can even take it while participating in this webinar. We just want to get your feedback so that we can develop and design this workshop based on the results of that data. Well, for the part that we've already known and we've planned in collaboration with regional directors and education experts that are in charge with the correction institutions, we have a really jam-packed, rigorous, really exciting workshop to deliver for you. We are going to tackle on one of the very important drivers in the way we do work in adult education moving forward. And that's what June just mentioned earlier, which is the integrated education and training. This integrated education and training is the merging, the blending of three major components that spells success for all of our adult education students. This blends together adult education literacy, workforce preparation, and workforce training into one solid, aligned, and correlated curriculum, and also, of course, program of study. So we're going to dive in, look at what this looks like in the corrections institutions, look at some samples of how integrated education and training has been conducted in other implementation, and help us kind of wrap our minds around how can we envision integrated education and training in our corrections facility. I am sure that this initiative, this project, which is aligned with WIOA, or is one of the provisions of WIOA, that this is just going to increase the level of re-entry, or increase the quality of re-entry of inmates into the society, and decrease recidivism throughout. So if we can set our students up into success by a very solid preparation for program for re-entry, then that's going to less likely they're going to have to come back to the prison system, because now they're going to have all the tools they need to reintegrate into the society. Now, what are you supposed to expect in this workshop? I'm sure you're like asking, what is this going to be all about? So I just mentioned to you that we're going to talk about integrated education and training, but there's a lot more in it that we need to really get into. First of all, at the crux, we're going to focus on what's really happening in the classroom, not so much programmatic and things like that, administrative changes that needs to happen within institutions. But we're going to focus on what really is happening within the classroom at the prison setting or at the correction setting. So really and truly, the implementation of integrated education and training relies on a solid contextualization of instruction. So we're going to do a quick review. I'm sure some of you already do this in your classroom. We're going to do a quick review of contextualizing instruction. We're going to show some samples. What are the components? What are things to watch out for so that we can implement contextualizing instruction in full fidelity? Then we're going to go in and dive into IET, develop a contextualized curriculum. Yes, we are going to develop a contextualized curriculum for a particular IET program. We're going to find contextualized content to supplement that curriculum. We're going to talk about special focus on one specific aspect, one specific technical program that's super essential into propelling lots and lots of inmates to success towards reentry, which is entrepreneurship. So we're going to spend a whole lot of time on how we can integrate entrepreneurship in the classroom. And of course, we're going to look at some contextualized content relating to that entrepreneurship skills, because if we are to integrate it, this content, we need to have some materials and resources. And then lots and lots of whole group and small group collaboration, breakout rooms, where I'm even going to throw in some collaborative activities there. We're even going to use some virtual learning resources here and there. Not that you guys need it, but you're going to receive tons and tons of ideas of lesson ideas, resources, materials, templates, and all of that to set you up so that you can begin and start implementing this day one. Now, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about remote learning strategies as well, because I don't know the settings and what's going on and how the pandemic has impacted the prison and the corrections institutions. But we're going to talk about remote learning strategies, which is also good and can be implemented in person. So really and truly, I'm talking about technology techniques here to really maintain the student engagement and monitor them. So we're going to use all of these, some of these remote learning strategies that are super popular in virtual setting, and how we can relate it and transform and get the best out of those virtual setting strategies and translate them into face-to-face. So we're going to really dive in. We've got plenty of time. We're going to spend about 4 hours with each other. We chunk the content a little bit for you, reduce some of the unnecessary pieces, and really so that we can dive right into the meat and potatoes of the content we're going to have to cover. There are 2 sessions. There is a morning session and an afternoon session, and an hour of lunch in between. So we're not going to barrel through 4 hours. So there's going to be a break in between to allow us to eat our lunch. I also mentioned to you some of the collaboration activities that's going to be happening during these workshops. And yes, you are not going to be left out. Even if you are oh man, I'm joining in I'm connecting to this workshop virtually, I'm not going to get a lot out of it. No, no, no. You are going to be super involved in the collaboration activities that we've planned for you in this workshop. You will have the opportunity to collaborate not just with people that are also connected virtually, but people that are in person with us, which is going to be a unique experience altogether. Is, for me and to all of you who have not had an opportunity to participate in this type of workshop setting. So we're going to be working on that and collaborating and really piggybacking on each other's basic knowledge and existing knowledge or prior knowledge of career technical skills, workplace preparation skills, and of course, we will also capitalize on the knowledge of the career technical professionals in our corrections facilities. So one of the biggest things when we advertise this to the Department of Corrections is to encourage career technical educators to attend this workshop or these virtual workshops, because this is really for them. They are in the spotlight, and we want to make sure that we hear their voice, and they are in the middle of the planning stages for implementation of IET in the corrections institutions. But there's more, all right? So we are doing this pre-workshop webinar to really prepare you on what's to come, give you some basic reading exercise so that you know what type of content we're going to tackle through, which we're going to help improve the level of engagement during the workshop. We're also going to do a workshop follow-up. We're going to schedule a workshop follow-up with all of you. We're also doing some IET technical assistance in multiple districts, and see if we can extend this technical assistance to corrections institutions by region or by facility. So that's also available to support the content that we are going to deliver to you in these regional workshops. We're going to cover major career clusters in the discussion. All right, so we're going to cover major career clusters that are super popular with the inmate population. And these are the things that we've done in consultation with the leadership of the DOC. And so we're going to cover content and develop IET with manufacturing industry jobs or technical programs. We're also going to cover, because we are in the state of Florida, we cannot forget the hospitality industry, which is the main driver of our economy. So we're going to talk about the hospitality industry, very hot topic right now, especially during the COVID pandemic. This is super important. How do we continually keep people engaged in the hospitality industry, and how the hospitality industry has changed due to the effects and the results of the pandemic? We're also going to talk about human service industry, which is really an opportunity for students to start their own business, or even they're easy to get into and does not have a lot of requirements in them in order to get certified. Last but not the least, we are going to talk about entrepreneurship, because we know that some of our inmates that are re-entering the society may not have an equal leg or footing when they go in and apply for jobs. We know that the reality is that if you have a record, that it's not always going to bid well with you when you're applying for a job, anywhere in any industry. So we also wanted to give all our inmates the opportunity to have an option B or even option C if ever they're having difficulty finding employment upon reentry. So we are going to teach you how to integrate entrepreneurship skills into the daily things that you do in the classroom, promote that business-minded thinking, and also help your students, have a plan just in case they can't find employment. We are going to give you every single piece of tool, videos, templates, planning, lesson plan samples, curriculum samples, everything but the kitchen sink. I can't give you my kitchen sink because it's attached to the wall. But however, all of the resources that you will ever need for implementing all of these ideas that we are going to deliver to you, you will have it at your fingertips. And if you're attending in person, you're getting it both in digital and printed format. So just to give you guys a brief preview of what to come, so you can kind of condition your minds and know what to expect and know how to prepare for in here. There's going to be a rigorous piece of content that we have to tackle. But IET is such a big component that I feel like I have to cover some of that components here with you. So when I say contextualized instruction, this is really looking at the students, what they're really aiming for, okay, their goal. And then we're looking at the curriculum, and then what is our goal? Because we have our content. So the content that we want to cover, we want to make sure that we are marrying that with the interests of the students. And in this particular case, really their goal, because adult education is not the end result for the students that are in our classrooms, they're there to get into a career preparation program or a technical program so that they can have the proper certifications so that they can apply for jobs or even start their own business. So we want to make sure that whatever we're doing in the classroom is complementing that student's goal so that we can maintain the relevance of the content that we are delivering. And that really is what puts that together, is really the context of what you're teaching and how you're delivering that. So once you marry the content and your students' interests and goals in mind, then that's really a true implementation of contextualizing instruction. We'll have lots and lots of sample and demonstrations on how this contextualized instruction looks like at the actual workshop. Now, in addition to that, I also want to talk about the separation between the two worlds, right? We've always been working in silos. You've got your adult basic skills side, where students take in the adult ESOL, maybe adult basic ed or ABE, or maybe even preparing to take their GED test. Well, that's your adult education side, okay? And then you also have another, on the other side, your career technical side, where they're going to learn technical skills and earn certification, do some clinicals and practical examinations in order to get certified, right? And that these two are both equally important, all right? Actually, I would tell you that career technical skills, you can't really get there without a very strong basic skills foundation. So there's a lot of need on the technical side in terms of support from adult basic skills. So if your adult basic skills are not strong, you're going to struggle in the career technical world because all of the content there is delivered at the college level, okay? So now what IET would do is going to combine these two together, allow these two components to work side by side, hand in hand, to accelerate the students' progress towards certification or credential attainment. And that really is the essence of IET. And IET even goes beyond this because it not only will help the student in improving basic skills and earning their credentials for employment, but IET is supposed to help them also seek employment. So keep in mind that you got your adult basic skills on one side, you've got your, and we're going to do the same thing with entrepreneurship skills. Really merge that with adult basic skills in terms of context, wrap our basic skills content, all of the things that we teach our students, fractions, reading, main idea, vocabulary, grammar, all of these things, okay? We're going to wrap it around the concept of entrepreneurship skills, and at the same time, start fostering those entrepreneurship and or entrepreneurial mindsets. We're going to talk about a lot of this in the workshop as well. So we've got the basic skills, things that you're teaching and you're doing every day with your students. We got the entrepreneurship skills and the career technical skills side by side. If these all three can be married together, okay, that is going to be our contextualized instruction with the IET component. So I've been mentioning IET a lot, but again, I want to give you kind of like a big picture view of what it is. Really is just integration of adult basic education or adult basic skills with occupational or technical skills, and also workplace preparation activity. And for all of these things three to be organized and aligned, you need to kind of develop like a single set of learning objectives to tie them all together, because they're traditionally taught apart. So now that we're going to try to put this all together into one solid program, we need something to tie them all up, right? And that will be what we call the single set of learning objectives. So more on single set learning objectives as we get into the actual workshop. All right, next. So for all of you that are in here that are starting to think about or in the administration or programmatic design in the different corrections institutions, if you're just getting started with an IET program, now is the perfect time to consider these things. So there's a bunch of questions. I'm not going to read all of these to you, but there's a lot of things that go into planning an IET. You cannot just say, oh, we're doing IET. You know, they're co-enrolled, blah, 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 or they're enrolled side by side. There's a lot of things that needs to be, need to get our ducks in a row if we are to plan an IET. Because if we're going to divert effort and resources in putting together this program, it has to have the return of investment that we expect in terms of performance, in terms of in terms of success rate in reentry and reduced recidivism. No, so we need to consider a lot of things. What are the jobs associated? Because you can't create an IET for any program at all. If there is no job or demand for that job, then that IET is now already set to fail, because your IET program should rely upon the most recent and most accurate job labor statistics within your locality, so that you know and you can guarantee, to a certain extent, an employment. And that'll also help you later on in the long run in developing partnerships with community business organizations that you wanted to partner with to help your students towards reentry and landing in that job. We also need to narrow down on what particular technical program we want to do, which students, who are the potential students, because we need to have somewhat of a cohort of students to go in here. So who are those students? Not everybody that you're teaching right now are going to be fit, or would they choose to be a part of an IET program. So making that clear to you, your vision of how that's going to be, and communicating that vision to all of your students is very critical into getting the right students in the correct track. All right. So then there's a lot more in here that I'm not going to belabor. Really, we're going to address a lot of these in big picture during the actual workshop. We're going to start looking at considering these so that you have all the information you need to set up your IET program. We have also like tools and templates that you can use. So the questions earlier that I posted are organized in a graphic organizer. I like graphic organizer. So you can just simply fill it out. If you're considering multiple programs, or you're choosing between two programs to do because you only have money or resources for one or the other, then this might be the perfect tool for you to kind of examine which targeted course would be best and would get you the best return on investment. Now, here's a little bit of a sample of an aligned competency. This one is on the in the welding, in the manufacturing industry in welding. And what we normally do is we take the knowledge content that they're supposed to learn in the career technical program, and in this case, it's welding. And we align that with what basic skills are actually supporting this content knowledge, or not actually, I wouldn't say supporting, but critical to this content knowledge that they cover in CTE. So we're going to break it down between subject area, math, ELA, even ESOL, maybe even break it down to science and social studies for if you're planning to do a program, like say, aligned to GED. Look at that and see how all these content align together. And also wrap it around the context of workforce preparation activities. And then we're gonna brainstorm about, okay, now that you made the alignment between your CTE content knowledge and your adult ed content knowledge, now let's plan for activities and assessments on how we're going to do this and implement this type of curriculum in our classroom, and how does it look like. Now, what to expect in terms of integrated education and training and planning for your single set of learning objectives. We talk about we can talk about get the definitions out of the way so we know if we're implementing it with fidelity or not. Rationale, we'll talk about the importance and the outcomes that's expected from an IET program. And we're going to look at contextualized content and really dive in, like I shared earlier, on the single set of learning objectives. Okay, I've got a question here and comment. I will make sure that I will share the template on the chat as we go here so that you can download it right away if the template is not live on the website. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the second half of the workshop, which really is going to focus on entrepreneurship skills. So entrepreneurship skills really is just, we're going to talk about what entrepreneurship is. We're going to talk about what are the different components that you need to put in place in your classroom to really start building habits of mind and also start spurring that entrepreneurship ideas from your students. This is a really good way to keep your students engaged because they like planning for the future. They like planning for what's to come when they go out and re-enter the society. So entrepreneurship is going to be a very exciting way for you to maintain the engagement of your students. Just to give you just a little bit of a sprinkling of what we're going to cover, we're going to really dive into some of the qualities of an entrepreneur that we already as educators are unconsciously promoting in class. Things such as self-discipline, integrity, persistence, a clear sense of direction, of course, when we do activities in class, and decisive and action-oriented. These are already 5 essential qualities of a successful entrepreneur. And what we're going to do is we're going to flush this all out. How does this look like? What can we do? How do we promote that persistence? What topics can we teach? What can you do right now to spur that mindset? Because really and truly, as we teach entrepreneur, we're actually also indirectly teaching them to how to become a really good student. So the return on investment is not just what comes after or what comes during re-entry, but it's also, you're definitely going to feel immediate effects once you use entrepreneurship as a context for the daily things that you do in your classroom. We're going to really dive into a lot of things. We're going to teach you how we're going to go over how you can promote idea generation. If your students already have some ideas of products they want to sell, innovative website apps, or anything that they have in mind, an idea of a business, how we can generate those ideas, how we can build a business model out of that idea, how to really start a small business, what paperwork and things like that. We're going to teach you all the ins and outs for that. We're also even going to help you build a lesson with contextualized content centered around entrepreneurship skills. And I have some bonus content there. I just mentioned it here. I have Nearpod app integration. Might not be super useful in the corrections facility, but you can use this in as a classroom mode to really promote that engagement. And of course, another surprise bonus content that I am not allowed to share with you right now. So you're just going to have to find out and sign up for this workshop. And we also have some pre-workshop reading assignments. So let me pause over here for a minute before I go over the pre-workshop reading assignment and find out, see if any of you have any questions. We want to know, we want to feel if you have some ideas, you have some feedback for us. Right now is the perfect time to give us that. What do you feel about the information that you've gotten so far? How do you feel? Do you feel excited? Type it into the chat bar. How do you feel about this content? Do you think this is somewhat a good direction that we're taking you to, and like giving you some ideas here and there? All right, so I'm gonna wait for a few moments for you guys to type that in. I am also going to I'm going to look for that file right now and add the template itself. Please keep in mind that you're actually going to get the actual content. Yes, you're going to get the actual content at the day of the workshop. So right now, yes, okay, I'm going to give it to you right now, and it's going to be on the chat bar. And I'm going to give you that first template, which is the examining the targeted course. We're going to give you the editable version, and you can go into the chat bar and click on download. And then once you click on download, you're going to have to save it into your computer. I've got some feedback here from some of our audience. She said, I want to learn more about building IETs and what that entails. It's not as hard as you think. It's not overly complicated. However, there's also lots of components that you might want to check off here and there just to make sure. The access to the templates and graphic organizers, like I said, is right now the first tool that I just showed you, which is the examining the targeted course, is already on the chat. You can click on that file and download it, save it into your computer. Everything, all of the graphic organizers will be included in your participant workbook that you can get at the day of the workshop. And you can also download it from your IPDAE portal, the digital version, after the workshop. So feel free to, again, answer the question and ask questions if you have any more with regards to the workshop. All right. Now I'm going to talk about the workshop reading assignment with you. We want you to do your due diligence and prepare for this workshop so you have everything you need to ensure a smooth sailing workshop, and you're on board, you're on pace, and you're on the same page as we are once we begin the workshop. So what I want you to do is I want you to select and download one of the 4 career technical programs. And I'm going to put these files on the chat right now. I'm going to post 4 technical programs that I want you to pick, and you're only going to download one. Okay. So I am going to share with you the first one, which is the one for cosmetology. Okay. And that's already into the chat. Now I'm also going to share with you the other one is for culinary arts. Okay. All right. And then I'm also going to share with you the entrepreneurship one. And just download which one you think. Now, what do you think you're more, attracted to, or you're more interested with, So pick one. And what I want you to do is that I want you to just skim through it. What are they learning in this program? What are they teaching here? What are they looking for? And what, I want you to have some idea about these programs, so that.
Do you mind putting that link back in the chat? It's not coming through.
Which one? The link to, the link to the, the survey. Is that what you're talking about, June?
No, these, technical programs and the templates that you were putting there, they're not going into the chat.
They're not. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I see it on my side, though, so it might take a moment here. But okay, Lisa said she sees them.
Okay, great.
So she's seeing them. Maybe you're just not seeing it on your side, June. But yes. But again, I'm going to give you a plan B. There's another thing that I wanted to share with you. You can always go to the Florida Department of, no, not Florida IPDAE, but you can always go to the Florida Department of Education website and go to career curriculum frameworks, or just put in technical program career or CTE curriculum frameworks, and you can download those specific programs from here. So I'm going to put this link here so you can look. Now, when you go into this part of the website, you're going to have to find them. They're embedded in here. All right, so I'd already told you welding. If you're looking for welding, that's going to be under manufacturing. So I'm going to copy the link address and I'm going to type in manufacturing welding here, so that you know where to click. And then, of course, if you're looking for nail, cosmetology, and things like that, you have to go into human services. So I'm going to type in that link as well. So either link, you can click on the link, or you can download from the download links that I'm giving you right now. So you've got manufacturing, you got human services, we've got entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship should be under marketing and sales. So, but really and truly, it doesn't matter which career technical program you look at. I just want you to be looking at any career technical program curriculum and see how it's structured. Okay. You're probably clicking on Q&A. You're not going to see it on the Q&A tab. You have to click on the chat tab to see these links. So don't look for these links on the Q&A tab. You have to look for the links on the chat tab. So, and I'm going to stick around here just to, let me know if you have any more questions or having some difficulty. So when you go into human services, you're looking for cosmetology. If you go into marketing and sales, you're looking for entrepreneurship, or the curriculum for entrepreneurship. If you go into manufacturing, you're going to click on and find welding there, okay? And then skim through it. Think about what you do in your classroom and how you're helping your students prepare for achieving the competencies in these programs. So think. So you're not really writing. I just want you to reflect. Look at this. Okay, oh, they're having to do this. They're having to learn, sort, do all these kinds of things in these programs. What am I doing in my classroom now that's preparing them for this? Because what we're trying to do here is to help you, make you more effective in feeding your students into these successful programs and helping them really perform and become successful in these career technical programs. All right. All right. Yes, there is one question here that was posted, and she's asking, can you look into a program that we have at our school or institution? Of course. Like I said, I'm giving you these 4 options here, but then you might not be offering these 4 because every institution is different. Pick one program that's actually offered at your school. That's even better. That's really such a good suggestion. All right. So pick that one. Let's say you offer, let's say, marine biology or something like that, or aeronautics engineering. Okay, take that. Pick that. What I really want you to just start wrapping your head around is, how am I preparing my students for these programs? And then so that when you come into the actual workshop, then we're going to empower you with the how. We're going to empower you with techniques and strategies and tools that's going to best prepare you for this. So download links are available on the chat. So some people have not gotten the download links. And again, you can always go, if you do not have the download link, or the download link does not work on your end, because sometimes your firewall might be preventing those downloads on you. And that's just school security, depending on how you're connected with this webinar. Again, you can simply go into the Florida Department of Education website. All right. So when you're going to hear in this landing page, you'll see Ron DeSantis' picture here right at the landing page. You can type in career curriculum frameworks, or CTE curriculum, or CTE frameworks. It's going to give you, and the choices, you pick on the latest one. We are currently on the 2021 school year. So pick that one, and bam, you're going to land in this page. Think about your school, think about what's being offered at your school, and then select from these choices. Select one. So when you go into, let's say, health science, and I don't know, health science might not be a good choice because those are very limited offerings in the corrections. Let's say we go into communication, AV arts, technology, and communication. You know, you go in here, you can see middle school courses. That's not what you want. You want to look at the career certificate programs and the degree certificate programs and select one in here on this long list. You know, don't get caught up in the long list, but just pick one that you offer, either you like, you want to dive into, or you're interested in taking. You know, could be for many reasons. The main thing is to get an idea of what is being covered in these classes, okay, so that we can best help prepare you to what's to come once these IAT programs are in effect. All right, so hopefully that's helpful for those of you that are having trouble with the link and the downloading from the chat. And again, I apologize, that's not our fault. This is all, you know, depending on how you're connected with us, you might have some issues with the download. All right, awesome. All right, so with that said, there are also the download links on the handouts to this webinar. So if you go into the Florida IPDAE where you signed up and how you logged into this webinar, there are links to, there is a book, there is a webinar workbook, and there's also the webinar slides. These webinar slides will have all of these links as well, so you can download it, okay? So I think I've given you everything here. So I think if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to turn it over to June to kind of close this out.
Ron, thank you so much. If any of you do have any questions, just send them to us at info@floridaipdae.org. So Ron and I are really excited about seeing you either virtually or in person. So sign up for these trainings. If you would just take a few minutes, you see 3 short questions that appear on your screen. If you could just answer those, we'd love to have your feedback of how you felt about this webinar today. And while you're doing that, I'll just remind you that next week, April 7th, our webinar will be titled TABE and TABE Class E. You'll receive some testing updates from Mike Johnson from the DRC. So we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. And thank you to all of you. Please be safe and take care of yourself.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this webinar Wednesday. And this is June Rawl. This is Ron Cruz and June Rawl signing off, and see you to our next, to the actual regional corrections workshops.
Thank you, everyone.